Linus, congratulations on your performance on Dragon's Den. You must have been very pleased with the outcome.
Thank you very much. I was. I had a really good time. I was quite nervous, and the reason I did that was because I wanted to overcome my fear of standing in front of people.
So let me get this straight. As an entrepreneur running a business, you've been running this business for 9 years, and you suddenly put a challenge to yourself that you're going to apply to go on Dragon's Den to overcome your fear of public speaking.
That's right.
Amazing.
Yeah, I didn't need the money. It was just...
You didn't actually need the...
No, I didn't need the money. No. But I thought it might be useful to have one of the dragons on board because they do have quite a few contacts.
Yes.
So, well, I was thinking about it for quite a while. Like, how would this change the energy of the company to have someone much more money orientated in my business?
Mm-hmm.
And I did pros and cons, and I figured there's mainly pros to having a dragon investor on board, and therefore I decided to go on the program.
And so how do you go about that? You apply to be on the program?
Yeah, so
send a letter to someone.
That's right. Yeah, send a letter to BBC Dragon's Den saying I want to be part of the program, and they sent an application form with loads and loads and loads of questions. And once I passed the first lot of questions, then I had to come in for a pre-screening where I had to pitch to the producer on camera. So I did a pitch. I practiced my pitch at the BBC studios in London, and I was quite nervous for that. But it was really good to have my first. It was only 2 people behind the camera, and it took about 10 takes for me to get the right pitch out.
Did they help you with that?
They helped me with the pitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see you walking up the stairs. So what was that like walking up that stairs?
There are no stairs. There's a lift.
There's a lift.
So I walked into the lift and then out of the lift.
Okay.
And it's a very different experience from what it looks like on TV, and I can't reveal to you why.
Okay.
It's probably a film trick.
Okay. We will stay with the illusion.
Yeah, stay with the illusion.
And what was it like standing in front of the dragons?
I felt really empowered in myself. I had practiced and prepared. I'd watched many programs and I had studied my numbers really well, and I knew what they were going to ask for. So I felt very confident and nervous. Before I went on the program, I was doing a quite strong breathing meditation just outside the lift doors, where I was calling in all my Viking ancestors and breathing out all the little fears, little critters that might talk in my head saying you're not good enough, and just talking all those out, breathing them all out.
Wow.
So in with all my ancestors.
With all of that, how could dragons withstand the force of all of that power?
Well, they couldn't.
So you went in and you had a figure in mind of what you were going to ask for, even though you say you didn't actually need it as a business. And you had a percentage of the shares of the company that you were prepared to.
That's right.
To give for that.
Yeah. So because I didn't need the money, I tried to figure out, what number do I actually ask for. So the obvious one that came to my mind was the first chocolate bar I ever created was a 72% dark chocolate. So I thought
72%.
72% dark.
Right.
So I chose £72,000 because that was the cacao content of my first chocolate bar.
And did they ask you why 72,000?
No, they didn't.
Oh, that would have been a great line.
I know.
Yeah. And so how did it go? So I know I've seen the program, but how did it go for you in terms of how you thought it might go?
It went the way I thought it might go. I thought they would all love me, and I think I charmed them. The trick was and is to always be authentic, to not try and know things I don't know. So when I didn't know something, I said, I don't know.
Yes.
And it's quite simple. Just say what I know and say I don't know.
But you knew the numbers of your business.
I knew the numbers of my business. There was one thing I didn't get right, which was I didn't understand, or I don't know or I didn't know at that time what the gross profit means. What is it? I thought it was something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them the wrong numbers, and they were quite confused. But Deborah managed to sort that out by asking me more detailed questions. So I'm very pleased.
And she was very excited, wasn't she? Yeah.
She was very excited.
And she made the first offer.
She did, yeah. And when she'd made the offer, I thought, well,
So
I've got what I want, because I'd already set my limit as 10%. I wasn't going to give away more than 10%, whatever they offered.
So you were happy that she went in with?
Yeah, the first offer was already in my bag.
Right.
So anything else would be a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So when they started fighting over me, it was just fun.
That must have been fun to watch them.
It was really fun.
Trying to outbid each other.
It was. Yeah. At one point, I even walked away to leave them to their arguing.
It's usually the other way around.
It's usually the other way around. Yeah.
The business person walks to the back and has a think about it.
That's right. So I went and put my hands on my ears and suggested they just decide amongst themselves, and then I'll come back.
And then you got an offer of what, 90,000 for 20%.
20% from Peter.
From Peter, yeah.
And
you said to him,
that was very cheeky. And
lovely.
And then he started to try and sell himself by saying why I should go for him,
mm-hmm.
why he's worth 20%. And I'd already stopped listening because I wasn't going to go for 20%. 10% was my max.
Yeah.
So I just started stretching and making myself more comfortable, and that, I think, put Peter off a little bit. So he lost himself and asked, "You all right, Linus?" So yeah, I enjoyed that.
So that was cheeky what you were doing as well.
I know, yeah. He was just talking about something I wasn't interested in at the time.
And at this point, you were not concerned about speaking in public. You were you were being televised.
Yeah, I think I had like 7 cameras directed at me, and there was probably about 10 crew, BBC crew on the side, and I totally blanked them. So I was 100% focused on the dragons and not at all on the cameras. And I felt very confident and strong in myself.
And so the final outcome was
that I decided to go for Deborah, who offered the £72,000 for a 10% stake in the company. Yeah. And after I'd left the actual filming bit and had my lunch, I then got to meet Deborah for a quick chat. And she was really excited, and she gave me a hug, and she said, "Let's make some money.
Let's make some money out of raw chocolate."
And now I'm going to phone my husband and tell him I've just invested in a chocolate company. Excellent. And she was very excited.
So the overall experience for you as an entrepreneur, I mean, your company, the Raw Chocolate Company Limited, what does this mean for you going forward? That you've been on Dragon's Den, you've got Deborah on board.
Yeah, well, what it means for me and for the company is that there'll be new doors opening, and especially after the show is shown, imagine I will have loads and loads of new customers coming my way, wanting to stock the products and to talk to me, interview me, write articles about the company. And I imagine there's going to be quite a big change and a burst of business, which is perfect because we've just moved premises to a new factory, which I was talking about at the show. It's just been finished, and we are now able to produce 3 times as much as we did now, or
Excellent.
a little while ago. So we can now supply a lot higher numbers of products to stores. So when these new companies and shops come on board, we can say yes. And we've just launched into Holland and Barrett. I imagine they'll be on the shelves as this program is aired. So check your local Holland and Barrett.
And finally, your fears about speaking in public?
They are much smaller. I'm still a little bit.
You're a hard man to please. You go on primetime television, take on the Dragon's Den, win, and you've still got some doubts.
There's still some butterflies in my stomach. Yeah,
but that's probably a good thing.
It's a good thing. I really enjoy it because what I've learned is just be myself and be authentic, and I can't do it wrong. It's all me. And by being me and honest and authentic, I can express what's true.
And just like your product, the Raw Chocolate Company, just like the products that you sell, authentic.
Yeah. Real, pure, innocent, cheeky, naughty, delicious.
And inspiring. Linus, thank you very much, and congratulations again on achieving such a great success at Dragon's Den. And we look forward to hearing more about your company in the future. And I'm going to see if the chocolate is available in our health food store here in Marlow.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.